It's Thursday at 3 o'clock, and this is a special live stream just for people who have supported us by purchasing the taking and selling professional portraits. So we have Chelsea and our pro photographer here, Samantha Shannon.
Hello.
Yeah, by now they're very familiar with you.
I've infiltrated.
You have infiltrated with good advice and beautiful pictures.
This is a very small live stream.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a chance to look at just about everybody's photos and hopefully answer everybody's questions. You can type, if you're watching live, you can type a comment and we'll be able to see it come in live. You can also go to s2p.io/prosubmit to send in your pictures. We have a bunch from different people already. So we'll go ahead and get started. Do you want to dig right into questions?
Yeah, let's dig into the questions. You had amazing questions. They were very good.
Julie Davis Dow has a Canon 60 Mark II, a 24-105 f4, and an 85 millimeter f1.8. Sam, what do you think that her next lens should be?
You're asking me the gear questions.
Well, because
right.
you're shooting like what more besides just a general zoom and an 85? What would you do after that?
She said affordable too.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So first of all, I really go after the sort of after. I hate calling Sigma an aftermarket brand, but really they kind of are, and Tamron too. But most of my lenses are Sigma lenses. So from right from the start, you can go to Tamron or Sigma for your lenses. So what does she have again? She's got
24-105 and an 85 f1.8.
I mean, you're covering all the bases there already.
Yeah, right?
That's what's tough.
Yeah, you have I mean, to be honest, and you can just stick with that for a while until you feel like you're making some decent money, and then maybe invest in some other lenses that are maybe like maybe a 50 or a 35. But I mean, I don't see anything wrong with what you have already in your arsenal. It would kind of be duplicating what you've got, other than primes, which can be maybe a little sharper, but
my thought was that you could try renting some things to see if you like them, but going into what I would call the exotics would give you a very different look from your competitors.
That's a good idea.
Like a 105.
That's a really good idea. Or it depends on what you photograph. I know a dog photographer who does all fisheye, and their look, it's so unique that everyone flocks to this photographer because it's all fisheye.
Right. So you could go for a very different lens.
That's a really good idea.
So you could go very wide angle, like fisheye, or you could even go with a lens that just has its own kind of special look to it, like
the Canon 85 f1.2.
Yeah.
A lot of portrait photographers have like a special secret look.
That's true.
And it's actually just they use the 85 f1.2. It's very distinctive.
I mean, to be fair, I have the 70 to 200, which does cover a good range, but I still do find myself going to my 85 prime because it does shoot differently than my 70 to 200. So Chelsea had, that's a great idea, just to rent some lenses. There's some really great companies out there. Personally, I like I think it's Rent Glass is who I like. It seems to be the cheapest.
Yeah. I think we get some discount codes for like lens rental.
Oh, lens rental. It's actually lens rental.
Lens rental?
Oh, okay.
They've been really good.
Lens rental. See, don't ask me things. I mixed up names. But
So,
that's actually,
Sam,
that's who I was thinking of.
How will they know when they are truly ready to start charging, actively pursue work, and put up a website?
Okay, so I know some photographers who were in business for some time and then stepped out and went back to portfolio building. I am one of those photographers doing that now. I think you can start charging when people are willing to pay you money. If you're posting images regularly and people are asking you if you can do portraits for them, you're ready because you have a client list that's already waiting to hire you. So if you are working on your portfolio and you're putting your work out there and it's crickets, it might be the time to maybe see what's missing and maybe talk to some fellow photographers who are willing to give you honest feedback about what's missing. So I think really the market, that people around you are good indicators on whether or not you're ready.
Yeah, and I think people can be too critical of their own work. This is when it's good to be in a group like the one you're in now, because most people that aren't photographers and they don't really know the difference. So if someone likes your work and they're willing to pay for it, go for it.
Yeah.
Do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
I'll take a moment to plug our Facebook group because it's not very active right now. We need people. There are lots of people in it, but nobody's posting anything, and groups need some momentum. So head to your My Account page and click the Facebook link and get there and share your pictures, ask your questions. There's a lot of really pro people there who can help you out. Here's a question from Brian Denslow. He asks if anybody has used any DNP image printers. These are dye sublimation printers. And unfortunately, the answer, we checked, and none of us had spent any time with those. So I spent some time looking into it, and I thought it was something worth bringing up. These DNP dye sublimation printers are not functionally pretty similar to the bubble jet printers that most professional photographers would use if they weren't outsourcing their printing. The main difference is they come with special paper, and each pack of paper comes with all the ink that you need for that paper. And they print very fast. So an 8x10 on our Epson P600 takes like 4 minutes to print. And these can print an 8x10 in about 30 seconds.
Is it like laser?
It's a thermal printer.
Oh, heat.
So
okay.
it actually uses heat. But so it prints very fast, and that means people mostly use it for events. So there is a business model where you go to an event, you take pictures at the event, and then you immediately print off their printers.
Got it.
I've seen this happen, if you take a tour, like if you're zip lining or something, people take pictures of you and then sell them to you right away. That's probably a dye sublimation printer. Other types of events, people will set up photo booths. They'll probably use dye sublimation printers. I thought I would just take a minute and put that on everybody's radar. These printers are not the kinds of things you typically want at home unless you were doing really high volume printing. They tend to be expensive, and so that's a dye sublimation printer. Let's take a look at a couple of pictures, and then we'll go back and ask some more questions.
My whole body is blocking the screen, so I apologize.
So this is from Catherine G. What's your take on this, Sam?
So I think that there are a few things to consider here. One is where your light is, which actually is not in a terrible place, but the light is very bright. So I think if you could find some shade, right now the brightest thing on this image is her hair. And also we're kind of, you've got one eye partially covered, one eye visible, and I really like to see both eyes, unless if you're going to go with one eye, then maybe go with just half the face. It just feels a little like I want to see both eyes. So I would try and look for some shade, or if you don't have shade, but you've got a friend or someone there that could maybe hold up a reflector or something to block the direct hard sun, that might help a little bit. And what Chelsea's doing is great. She's using radio filter.
Yeah.
I'll suggest a third alternative, which would be to add some front lighting.
Yes.
If you kick up the front light some, the back lighting will just essentially fall down.
Yeah. A flash would be great for that, or a reflector, a big reflector.
Yeah. I also...
That's quite a bit
just
better.
Showing the difference between having her face, which is the subject, be the brightest thing.
Yeah.
And if you're doing this for a client, that's what they want to see. They want to see a good expression from their child, and they want to make sure that their face is the first thing that they're seeing.
Yeah.
Good shot. I hope that helped. Here we have a set of, I think, 5 pictures from Sani Slagle. We're allowing people to send in more pictures today. And let's flip through the body of work that Sani sent in. Right away, the feel to me is almost fashion. It's very modern, I think.
Really good. Very
really
strong.
Good.
Yeah, they're spectacular. All these shots are good.
I'm hoping Sani's in the watching right now, because
Sani, are you there? Sani?
These images are really great. I love the connection to the camera. I love the color toning that you chose for each of the images. I think even though they're all really different, they all sort of they all seem to have a similar style. Like I could tell that these are all your images, the way that they're retouched. I think these are great, and I would love to know what you are, what your genre is, if you're actively making money with this imagery, and if for some reason you are not, we need to get you there, because these are phenomenal.
Yeah, these are incredible pictures.
Yeah.
I think for this person, it's just about who they're trying to sell to and how they're going to market that.
Yeah, if your goal is to land commercial campaigns, that's kind of the feel that I get. They're very commercial.
Yeah, but I see that they could very easily turn to like senior portrait.
Oh,
if they wanted to.
Yeah. Well, seniors love that magazine style.
Yeah,
look.
they really do. Yeah.
I think this would be a hit on Instagram. But would somebody pay for this as a portrait?
That's why I was thinking. Yeah. This looks very commercial to me, but it depends. I do contemporary glamour, so people are coming to me for a makeover, and that magazine feel. So if they're coming to me to step out of their comfort zone and look like a model, yes.
Yeah. And another thing is so many local boutiques and things like that, they want a model to wear their clothes. And if this was a service you offered, let's say that little tiara was at some like boutique shop in your town and they wanted to sell it, that could be your client too.
Well, that would still go to commercial.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just looking at the live questions here.
I see a question from Sassy Bacon. He says, talking about pro portraits, I don't see any mention. I think you mean the 50 millimeter f1.4 or f1.8. Is that a good lens for pros or is it just for beginners?
My favorite lens is the Sigma Art 1.4 50 millimeter lens.
Yeah, I think they're in the wheelhouse. I think most portrait photographers start out with the nifty 50, the 50 f1.8.
I love my Sigma. I had the 50 Nikon version, the one for the crop sensor body, and then eventually I upgraded. But as long as you don't get too close with it, if you get too close, the face gets a little weirdly skinny. But you know, I love my 50 millimeter lens, and I think I know lots of pros who use it. So
here's another question. Sam, do you use a special service to print your IPS products, or do you go to a retail printer?
Not a retail printer. There's a big difference between the pro labs and your consumer labs, quality-wise, the way that the prints are treated and coated, longevity, color correctness. There are a lot of labs out there, so I would do your own research. But the 3 labs that I use are Bayphoto, WHCC, and Miller's, which is the professional version of MPix, which is the consumer side. But the trick there is that if you use MPix, you really are kind of getting a pro quality image because they're using the same printers. So if you feel like you don't quite have the budget or you're not pro yet and you can't get access, because a lot of these you have to be a professional photographer. But if you're not there yet, MPix is a good alternative to start printing client work and still get pro quality results. And you guys have used them before, right?
We like MPix and Miller's. But I think this is really important because when you deliver your final product to your client, you don't want them to think, oh, this looks like what I could get at Walmart. You want them to think, wow, this really does look professional. This really is nice. It has the extra quality to it.
I actually have a texture that's added to my prints that it almost looks like a cross-hatching physical texture that sets it apart from any other print they would see. And I've never had anyone say, oh, I don't like that. Can I get it without it? I can. I would certainly have it removed. But I just want it to feel more luxurious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself apart.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's only on prints. That doesn't get added to like other products like canvas or metal or anything.
Let's take a look at this picture of Allison from Marissa. And I think I spent some time looking at this. I wanted to look a little bit less snapshotty, a little more deliberate. And I think there are a few things that made it feel like a snapshot to me. The subject here is dead center in the frame. It feels unposed, like the shoulders are just square. So I guess maybe I would try to compose it a little bit differently, like maybe just pull it in a little tighter and maybe just work the pose and expression a little bit. I'm not, especially in the context of professional photography, I'm not sure who would say, oh, I will pay you $200 to get a print of this.
Sorry, I was going to say a musician. This seemed like reads a little bit.
I had a different reaction, Tony, than you did with this.
Well, okay.
I had the same feeling that it felt snapshot, but I felt like what I would have done differently is different. I think that there's some hard shadows behind that you can see. You cropped some of it out, but you can still sort of see there by her hand where the lighter is. You can see there's a hard shadow there. I would have actually, there's a lot of distracting things. There's a windowsill, there's lights, there's hard shadows, her hand shadow, there's some chair railing. This kind of photo, you're trying to make it look dramatic and look towards the light that she's holding up and the cigarette light and her eye. This needs to be on a solid backdrop or a solid wall, or there's just too much happening here. If you could move to the left there, I don't know what's there, but if it was a plain wall and maybe desaturate it a little some, it's very purple. Maybe that was the look you were going for, but there's just a lot happening here. And I think it would have been more dramatic to just break it down right to her and her only.
Well, let's take a look at a couple of pictures from Julie Davis Dow. I see Julie's in the comments now. So these are the 2 pictures that Julie sent in.
These are very different from each other. Wow.
Drastically different, right? Let's start with this pose.
I just like this expression so much.
I like that he's sitting on a big chair and holding a tiny chair. I just wish there were more of him sitting in that tiny chair. Well, what's your suggestion, Sam?
I think that I would have, this is like a minor thing, but I tend to, when working with chairs, I tend to like to bring the rear end closer to the edge of the chair instead of sitting them all the way back. This is kind of silly, but to me, it almost looks like he's sitting on the John, kind of, the way he's sitting. I like to just bring them forward. You can go more artistic with it. He can really lean forward. And also the other thing that happens is because his butt's so far away, it looks itty teeny tiny. So it's so far away from his feet. So he has this tiny little butt and these big feet and these big hands. So if you bring his butt forward, everything is a little closer to the same plane. And you can get him to lean forward or sit up. There's a lot you can do. But I think sending his butt so far back when you're working with chairs can look a little funny.
We might also be missing key parts of the story here. Yeah. Clearly, he has some relationship with chairs.
Yeah.
And if it were an article about a guy who ran IKEA or something, it would make a little more sense to me.
That's the vibe I got, like he designs chairs or something.
Yeah. I love his expression. That's the first thing I saw.
Yeah, me too.
So this feels like an event photo, and it's obviously a singer, and it felt dark to you guys, right?
Yes, yeah. Very.
85 F1A, and it feels like, well, maybe it did get in focus. Maybe it's just, I don't know. It felt a little soft.
Maybe some motion blur there, possibly.
I think more importantly, if you are looking to shoot concerts, the person that's going to want these pictures, the musician, has to think, I want to look like that.
Yeah.
I want to pay you to take that picture because I want to look like that. And I think he looks a little bit awkward with them.
It's an awkward crop too, right?
Yeah, but with the mic kind of in his mouth like that. So I think that the first thing you have to think when you're putting a picture up on your portfolio is that someone's going to come here and I want them to want this to be them.
Yeah.
So they hire me. And that's not the vibe I'm getting. Now, it's a nice picture.
Yeah.
It's fine. If you were just submitting this as concert photography, I'd be like, yeah, he's got a meaningful expression and stuff.
He also has a double chin and some neck flap.
He doesn't want to know about his double chin. He doesn't.
No.
Think if that were you. Would you want your double chin showing? No. Things like that. It becomes a little different when you're working for a client. Mm-hmm. It's all about them, making them feel the best looking that they can be.
Here's 2 shots from Rodney Belfort. Okay, these feel like 2 pro-grade portraits in a studio, one with a pink backdrop, one with a gray backdrop.
She's missing some connection here, in my opinion. And I also don't love the elbow coming straight at the lens. I think this is I think the shot's not terrible. And also it's a little bit of an awkward crop. But I feel like, so you have to think, what would someone naturally do? She just literally looks like she's like when in real life do you stand like this? So in what context? Is she about to lean on a wall? Is she singing? If she's singing and getting down, you want to maybe push that other shoulder back, like she's getting into it. But right here, she kind of just looks like she just put her hand on her head, which nobody does that in real life. So I think it just needs to look like a natural.
It could be a little more natural, like hands in the hair.
Yeah, right. Right. Like she's actually doing,
Yeah, then you're suddenly maybe pushing your hair behind your ear or,
Yeah, it just looks very static.
I also say it's almost mixed mood to me because shoulders square to the camera, eyes dead ahead. Everything is very square and kind of a powerful pose. But then this hand of the hair feels like very casual and candid.
Yeah, that's the feeling I get.
If you are going to do this, I might just have her like tilt her shoulders and tilt her head a little bit and make the entire shot more dynamic.
Yes.
I do think she looks really beautiful. And I think a lot of people would want a picture like that of themselves. Yeah. Except this elbow is so prominent because it's coming out at the camera. And when that happens, sometimes I just clean up the skin a little bit and soften it so it's not so sharp and in focus.
I'm also not a fan of 2 catch lights like that. I almost always try to just use a single light. That's changed over the years, but nowadays simpler, fewer lights is usually better. Same 2 catch light setup here. It looks a little alien, right? I think that might be part of what made the eye contact feel a little disconnected. So this is a much more dynamic portrait. Like everything is kind of at an angle. What is it? I feel like it's close, but maybe it's just her expression isn't connecting.
It's
it's just the expression. Yes, I love the styling. I love the colors, the gray background with the red.
The styling.
The styling is great. Her hair is great. I think her makeup is great. I think that's thing that's missing. That's the most important thing is just the expression in her face. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have any tension in her mouth, so it looks almost like you caught her off guard. I'd love to see like a smile. I bet you.
Or a smirk, like.
Yeah. Yeah, because she looks so cool, but her face is just kind of like
a little bit dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Here's a technical question. Somebody's using a Canon 6D or 5D Mark II. They notice that when they are photographing a group of people, the person in the center is focused while the ones on the edges are a little bit out of focus. And I think I can address this in saying that in our testing of cameras and lenses, I've discovered that a lot of lenses don't have a perfectly flat focal plane.
Yeah.
It will shift a little bit. So your people might be completely parallel to the sensor, but the lens itself will actually distort that. And that varies from one copy of a lens to another. And so that's very frustrating. It's a matter of getting to know your own equipment. So getting it serviced probably wouldn't change anything because the manufacturer will probably tell you that it's within specs. You could just try a different lens, or you could just raise the f-stop, and hopefully that would solve the problem. With groups, like what would you shoot a group at? Like what f-stop?
Oh, I'm usually, it depends on how big the group is, but f8, between f8 and f13.
Yeah, so you just can't do shallow depth of field
unless
with a group,
you
in my experience.
Are backing way up. I mean, I have shot groups at f4, f3, but I'm going way back, and then I know that I'm going to crop in tight a lot because maybe I still want to try and get that blurred background. Yeah. But for the most part, to be on the safe side, I'm almost always at f8 or higher.
Another photographer is struggling with something that we always struggle with, which is they get the nose or the forehead in focus and not the eye.
Yeah.
Like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, increase your f-stop.
Yeah, just
or
open that depth of field.
or take multiple shots.
Yeah, that's what I do. Like continuous.
Yeah.
I'll even be like leaning forward a little bit, but it's hard.
Yeah.
I'll also throw in eye detect. Makes you think that the camera is going to focus on the eye, but eye detect in modern cameras simply finds the eye and then chooses that focusing point. And often focus points are so large, like they're bigger than the eye. The focusing point will still grab onto the eyebrow or even the eyelashes at shallow depth of field. You can be on the eyelashes and not the iris of the eye. So none of that is perfect. It's just
taking a lot of shots. I shoot at 1.4,
can't always shoot wide open.
1.6 often, but I always take like a lot of shots because I want to make sure I have one that nailed it.
Same, or I'll just go to like increase my f-stop,
like f2.
Yeah, and make sure I get it.
And then go back. I do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, safety shots, right? And we'll often blend multiple pictures together. We'll pick that sharp eye and drop it in a different photo that has a better pose.
This photo is adorable, but it's like so candid that it doesn't seem like it's for a client unless he's like a dog walker or something.
But even then,
He's not styled appropriately.
No, and I can't tell if this was someone you came across on the street and just took their picture. Or, I mean, we've got, sweatpants and sneakers, or if it's hard to really tell what's happening here because I can't tell if they're actually walking or maybe they just walked out from the driveway and they're just standing or what's the story?
I like the subject separation. I like the blurred background and everything, but
I think the street is a winner. Like this is a beautiful scene here.
Yeah, but in relation to what we're talking about, you getting clients and selling your pictures to them, I don't know if you put this on your portfolio, I don't know who would say, I want that. I want that for my...
Yeah, I agree.
What? Like, how would you be using this picture?
So maybe the lesson is you really have to take some responsibility for the styling of your clients, especially if you plan to put something in.
Yes. And if you like just taking pictures of people, that's fine, but pick stuff that for your website or for sharing that's going to make the most sense for potential clients.
Yeah, and we see that all the time. People send us their portfolios and they want clients and then they have pictures of like insects.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you're not going to get them that way.
I don't love the angle. I'm never a fan of looking up a woman's nose for a shot. That's just my personal take. I know there's lots of people, there's even ad campaigns and stuff that shoot at this angle. For me, I'm not a fan of it. But I think the photo is nice, but...
it doesn't feel, it feels like it could be a magazine photo or a commercial photo or an Instagram photo, but it doesn't feel like a portrait.
Right.
I can't imagine somebody buying this print and putting it on their wall.
Right.
Just because like there's no eye contact, they're kind of looking off into the distance. It just feels like a different type of shot than what people want to buy usually.
But I think it is a really nice shot.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think the small change you'd have to make is get the eye contact. Like imagine, again, who would be buying this and why. This almost looks like it could be like a senior portrait shoot or, a few tweaks to maybe the wardrobe. And this could be a professional photo for a business card or...
Pretty sure Rodney's in the group actually as well. He's chatting.
Oh, good.
He's chatting.
Yeah, I think one of the things we struggle with is a lot of the pictures that we see in the world and that we admire aren't what's going to sell.
Right.
So I will look through a Vogue and be like, holy crap, I love those shots. Those look fantastic. But I would be hard pressed to find a client who would want to buy a copy of that exact same photo that works really well for selling bags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just kind of different disciplines.
But the good news is he's a good photographer. He just now needs to find his market and his clients and then kind of just tailor his pictures a little bit for them.
That was for the dog. He's my neighbor.
Yeah, so...
It actually felt like that.
Yeah, it felt like that. It was a good picture, but it's just, I don't know, unless your neighbor wants to buy it, it's going to be tough. Yeah, Rodney, hi. He's in the chat right now.
So I think this is a really interesting picture for Louis Arcours, and this might even be something that would work for social media, right?
Yeah. I see it as a commercial sell, maybe, social media or maybe a bulb company.
Yeah, or like he's an artist and this is his personal branding or something, and you're doing, that...
I wish we just could shift everything slightly down. It just feels a little unbalanced to me.
To me, it felt like he's an inventor, like he's created something.
Yeah.
I like that shot. Okay, a casual family photo, but I feel like right away I see this kid's face is half obscured. She's got her eyes closed. His eyes are almost closed.
Yeah, and also he's kind of cut off.
What I like is I love the mood of the photo.
Yeah.
Everyone's having fun. It's candid. Their outfits match and they're not distracting. But when I think about delivering this to the client, if I'm that woman and I'm going to be spending money on this photo, my eyes closed, I'm making a funny expression.
Yeah, look at
my arm is in an awkward spot. And then the dad, if you're trying to sell him the photo, like his eyes are closed and he's cut off.
Right. The kids look cute, but you have to still remember who's paying.
Yeah.
I've learned that lesson many times where I have like shots like this, and I'm like, oh, the kids look so cute. I'm going to include it in the gallery. And then the first thing the parents say is, oh my God, look at my hair. No, like the kids look cute, but I don't look good in this. So, and it gets cut. And you're like, lady, like your kids look so cute. Does not care. She doesn't look good. No, the image is not getting purchased.
Yes, and you find out people really care about their looks and you forget.
Yeah.
And I have had people where I thought, oh, this is for a business card. They don't really care. And they're like, oh, my tooth is sticking out. I hate that tooth. Or, oh, man, like I did gain weight. So people are self-conscious.
Yeah.
So look at your pictures like that because now it's not about you anymore. It's about your client.
Yeah.
So here are 3 shots from Brian Denslow, and I think they all are more exactly what we're kind of thinking about when we think of pro portrait photography. Like these feel very sellable good senior portraits,
absolutely.
Right?
All of them.
Let's start with this shot. Do you ever shoot on a solid, like 100% white background like that, Sam?
Only when requested.
We got to clean up his nose some. This is common with kids, but...
Yeah, just get the little boogies and stuff. I don't know why kids always have that there.
Only when it's requested. It's not a favorite of mine. Although what I do like to do instead is to make something look backlit where I'm kind of... Sometimes I'll use my big umbrella with a parabolic umbrella that has a cover over it, and I'll use that as my backdrop, and I'll pull them way away from it, so they're backlit, but they also have the nice. It almost looks like they're standing in front of a window, kind of thing.
Wraps around a little bit.
And then you have to front light them as well when you do that. So I do like that look, but just putting someone on a white backdrop, I don't know.
I normally just would let it
a little sterile.
Yeah, I like.
The high key look has kind of gone out for portraits. It was around for a while, and
so
we used to
glad.
do it for commercial work, but I'd probably just let it drop to gray. I would also lift the front light up some because it's kind of level with our subject now. So all the lighting on his face is side lighting.
It's also a little harsh. I would feather this light a little bit more too.
Yeah.
You've got some hot spots there.
Yeah, it's almost high drama.
One more thing. I know we have so much more critique than usual, but it's because we know you want to be pro, so we're just giving it all to you. His skin tones were
yellow,
green. So that's a really important thing. So make sure that you don't have that green or yellow. Just really look at the skin, isolate the colors. It takes some time to get your eyes used to that. So just think about it.
So these are two senior portrait type shots of the same girl.
Really good.
Yeah, I love
really
that.
Good. The only critique I have here is just have her bend her elbows some, just to create some, I like to, I try to avoid putting arms directly against the body. So whether that's her taking a step backwards and leaning forward a little bit, so you get a little triangle under her arm, and you can see through, because she looks quite wide here, but you can tell looking at her face that she's a thin girl. So I would just attempt to give her some angles instead of that straight arm against her body.
I took some of the post out of the foreground too, just to make it a little bit more about her.
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled with the way that was kind of blocking her.
But her expression is nice. This is a flattering photo of her. If I saw this picture of myself, I'd think, oh, my skin looks smooth. I'm making a normal face. She looks really pretty. I think she would be pleased with this. I think this is a great picture.
Agree.
Let's take a look at the studio shot, what seems to be the same girl. And they're clearly going for a very dramatic kind of hero shot here.
Yeah.
And that means the lighting on the face might not be as flattering as it would be for a traditional portrait. What do you guys think?
I mean, I like the dramatic look because I think she was going there, or he was going for a dramatic shot here. I think I don't know if there was a black card or like a black V flat or a black reflector, something to maybe give her some shadow on on the left side of the face. I think you could have added that. So to give a little bit of drama, so that, because you've got all this dark, but then her face is very flat lit from front on. I think maybe a little shadow on half of the face,
and go with the more dramatic face as well.
Yeah,
this is very cool. I could see my daughter wanting this for soccer.
Absolutely,
this is sellable.
I feel like it was lit with a single light from the top, and maybe there's a light off to the right. Yeah, there's a light off to the right too. I think two side strip lights might have given you a better effect, because it feels like her face is actually overexposed.
Yeah.
And then like the lower part of her body disappears into nothingness.
Yeah, she's got fair skin too, and that can be very easy to overexpose.
Okay, somebody has a question. They want to build a portfolio, but they don't have a big network of friends. How would you go about getting photos of people to build a portfolio?
So if you don't have a big network of friends, I would say you can reach out to Model Mayhem for one, which, you sort of get there. In some areas, you might have a great selection of people to reach out to there. But also, if you look in your local Facebook groups, I know in Connecticut, there's Facebook groups of people who are aspiring models. And there's lots of there's meetup groups. If you go to like meetup.com, there's people who want to model everywhere. And if you even are on Facebook and you just ask, hey, I'm looking for some models for a project, you don't have to say it's for portfolio building. Everyone thinks that they're a model and has friends who think they're a model, whether they are or not, but it's just faces. So I would just start putting it out there that you're looking, and also go to like Model Mayhem and those kind of places.
Yeah, and if you do have the budget, I would say hiring a professional model.
Yeah.
And then having multiple looks ready so it doesn't look like all of your pictures are from one shoot.
Yeah.
A professional model is going to make you look like a better photographer because they already know how to pose. And you might actually learn something from them, too. I've learned a lot from working with professional models. What else?
We have to hurry it up a little bit because we're starting to run out of time. Let's take a look at George Ramos's photo here. I would suggest moving the light up a little bit and maybe using a bigger light source. Like, I think we have 3 small light sources here. And
is this cropped at the neck?
Yeah, I would also back way off on the crop.
I didn't know if you.
I want to see more of the hat. No, this is what was submitted.
And then also, I don't know what this picture would be for. If this is like a picture, a professional portrait, or if this is like a glamour portrait. But if you're going for glamour, I would match the styling with that.
Yeah.
Because he has on like mascara and highlighter and makeup, and it all looks.
But then he has a baseball cap.
But then he has a baseball cap on. If this is just what he does every day, and this is just capturing him, good. Go for it. Present him in that way. If he's looking for a real glamour photo, then glam him up.
And if this was intended to be a headshot, it's cropped way too high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 shots from Jim. This just feels like a candid shot. I mean,
maybe it's
we'd want to group them together. I can imagine a family wanting to get themselves photographed doing some sort of activity, but yeah, we'd have to take a little time, like screaming directions at them, so that they're a little bit bigger in the frame. And the backdrop looks a lot like a shower curtain to me.
It does.
It's got some wrinkles in it, stuff you definitely would want to iron out, but also...
And misfocus
I think it's a self-portrait.
It is hard to get focus when you do a selfie like that.
I also am not a huge fan of the... I don't know I'm blanking on the terminology, but it's light on the bottom and dark on the top there.
Yeah, it's kind of accentuating all of this and...
I mean the backdrop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The gradient. Thank you.
It is almost uplighting is kind of spooky, right?
Yeah.
It makes it seem like the earth is glowing somehow.
Yeah, uplighting is a little spooky.
And get yourself a steamer and steam out some of those.
I would
wrinkles
eliminate
in the
uplighting
jacket.
from any portrait. No one wants to be lit from below. And this is also lit from a pretty low angle as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at
this
the catch
is maybe
lights.
green screen?
Yeah, or I think it's the same backdrop, and then they added in some filters and stuff.
Oh, right, okay. And it also is missed focus.
Better expressions. Yeah, I think it's a self-portrait again. So you're practicing, you're using yourself. That's fine. I've done that before.
Oh, yeah, he said it is a self-portrait.
Yeah. I like the styling on her. I think you got a good expression.
Yeah, the outfits are super fun.
I would just use her as a model so that you can practice getting proper portraits of another person. And go look at other people that are doing well as portrait photographers, because like the natural environment stuff and a more organic feel is more popular now. And so that's what's going to sell more. If you're getting a lot of people requesting this specific look, good, go for it. But you have to think of, kind of a common taste, which can be unfortunate. Like you want to be common, but also stand out.
And also, I think in most cases with portraits, especially when you're starting out and until you start, someone gave me this advice early on and they said, until you start making money and people are really flocking to you, and then you can do whatever you want, really, because people at that point, they love your work, they know about you. You could start adding some of your own flair. But in the beginning, if you want to make money, simple is best. Simple. Because you are trying to attract mass audiences. So if you are already trying to start new and you're narrowing yourself down to this very specific style, I think it's going to be difficult. Okay.
Turbo mode, guys.
Yep.
Billy Davis style. Mode. I would just add a front light here. The dappled light is unflattering.
Agree.
But I like the overall scene.
I love the overall scene. I would love a picture like this of my grandparents in front of their home with their truck. That's cool.
Yeah, I feel like it tells a story.
I love this one too.
Gorgeous shot.
But maybe eye contact if it's like a senior portrait or...
I don't mind that she's looking up in a way. Maybe she's looking up a little too high, maybe.
This could be like album art or something, maybe.
I like it.
I wish the neck of the instrument wasn't cut off.
Yeah.
The styling, though, and everything, it all matches. It looks really good.
This was like a vacation shot with the family.
It looks like like street photography.
I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a portrait or a behind the scenes of you shooting something.
I think for your about page, this is probably a useful shot.
Okay. Oh, if this is like for the alcohol or a bar or something, or maybe you're taking pictures for a local restaurant, I could see that working if this is like a bartender there or something. Oh, Missy at Treaty Oak Distillery. Oh,
I like that one better.
Different angles.
Like this is such a good example. Like this feels so stiff.
Yeah.
And then, where'd it go?
It's right here.
And now this one has so much more personality and movement.
Yeah, just a little bit of a different angle made it so much more dynamic.
Maybe for time purposes, what if we just look at the grouping from each person and give overall feedback?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And, okay, I think we looked at a couple of Lewis's pictures already.
Whoa, that is so cool.
Yeah, this is an awesome and beautiful kind of art shot.
Yeah.
It's
I like it a lot.
Art.
It almost looks like a painting.
Maybe they're going for the gallery.
Yeah.
And the reverse angle. That's fascinating.
Yeah, I actually think that's really cool.
Both those angles.
Mm-hmm.
Those are awesome.
That's
I'd
cool.
be super happy with that set. More from Louis. Lewis's shots didn't get grouped together, so they're separated here.
I think those last two could use a little bit of work, because with the posing and the focus and I would study a little bit women's posing. A lot of that feels very stiff to me.
Yeah, and here pulling her elbows out a little bit would help stop her arm from kind of getting smushed. I can see a little bit of that. And look
fat from behind too, which no one's going to like that.
But I like where these are going. Nice, clean backdrops.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw this one. Yeah. I've commented on this before, so he already knows how I feel about that image. But all I said on this one is I love it, but all of the chair legs, it just felt a little too pulled back. And I didn't even notice she had a prosthetic in that first one until I took a minute to look at it.
Yeah, I might even just dodge and burn that to make it pop a little bit more.
These are great.
But yeah, the lighting here is just masterful. The subject separation is working out great. I think those are really powerful shots, like good examples for other people to learn from.
Yeah, actor headshots or something.
Yeah.
This is another one with the elbow up in the hair, but at least in this one, I do believe she looks like she's actually maybe playing with her hair. But don't forget, there's a whole other half of her body. So if she's doing something here, give her hand something over. Like, no, I still feel like if you're going to mess with your hair, your shoulder's going to go back. You're going to do something with that other half of the body. So don't forget that half.
This is the same
pretty.
photographer. Yeah, it is. That's really
gorgeous.
Pretty. Maybe the shirt's too busy. Or...
Yeah, this is nice. I would pull him off the rock a little bit, maybe, or do something different with the angle. I really like the shot.
Yeah, maybe forehead forward just a little bit, because just to be
forward.
consistent with the kind of powerful pose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might even pull those zipper
And I don't
down.
love that it's where it's cropped.
No, but I like his expression.
I do too.
I think he would love this picture of himself.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. And same with this shot. I think you'd like that shot.
I feel like the space it's cropped. That whole rule of space thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we got focus on the far eye though. Yeah.
Sorry, we're going through real quick.
Her eyes need some light. I think the lighting here is harsh and unusual.
Yeah, you're getting some like shadows across her face, and you have to be mindful of side lighting that it shows every little imperfection.
Yeah.
And there's no catch light. Like, she has dark eyes, and they just almost completely disappear.
Yeah.
So I think narrow lighting could be okay here, but it should be soft. If she's in sunlight, which it might be, I'd have a diffuser there.
It's because she has thick. Sometimes the false eyelashes can actually weigh down your eyelid, and then it's hard for the catch light to get past them.
Yeah. I mean, the soft light in the background looks so nice and pretty and soft. It's such I wish that was the light on her face.
But I like her styling, her clean hairdo and everything.
I did not know that about the...
false eyelashes can block the light. I've seen it happen before, and then you get dead eyes. I had a model with fake lashes, and that happened to me.
Just darkened down her, the chest area down to her torso. It's just really bright compared to everything else.
It seems like we just missed focus on this shot.
Yeah. All right, I won't do the edit since we're moving along.
Yeah, we can try to critique other parts of it. I think it's a nice spot.
I think it's a nice pose. I love the color contrast, like the styling, her bright lips with her blue gown. What do you think this would be for? Is this like an actress headshot?
This could be a contemporary glamour.
Yeah, that's true. Like a glamour.
Yeah, I would go crop slightly down towards the belly button, and versus I don't know. I feel like it's because of that deep V. I feel like I need to see more of the dress.
Yeah, it's a little bit unbalanced.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I would light that right side slightly more.
Yes, we can see her eye a little bit more.
Yeah, but I like where you're going with it though.
Mm-hmm. I like the sincere expression. Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, I like the shot a lot.
I would have pulled him away from those trees more, because the first thing I went to, I looked at the guy and then I went and saw those giant banana leaves, and that's the second thing, and my eye stayed on the banana leaves. That's what those are, right? Banana leaves?
Yeah, I think it's like a palm. But I think that's cool. I think he'll like that shot of himself. And then this is a cool picture, but
eyes.
He has no eyes, and that's kind of neat, except what is this picture for? Who's buying it? You put this on your portfolio, and is someone going to say, "Oh, I want this"? Yeah. Maybe if you put it in some kind of genre.
But yeah, it is a cool shot.
This is a candid of Gretchen.
This is cute.
Oh, this is really cute.
This is a very sellable image, especially a mom. I could see a mom loving this shot of her Boy Scout.
Yeah, that's really cute.
I'm unsure about the black backdrop. Wouldn't it be nice to have him in the woods with the
Yeah, but if they're coming in the studio and that's what they did, I still think it's a saleable image.
Yeah, me too.
I think there could be some improvements on it, yes. But
yeah,
I definitely
drop a light on the backdrop and maybe have a little bring it to gray.
Rodney, more pictures from Rodney.
Maybe this is for a salon.
Yeah.
But
I would want to see her. She seems very serious.
But not only that, she looks scared. So you don't want to if you're going to look at her body language. She looks terrified to be in that seat. So I would maybe just have them relax their drop their shoulders, relax their shoulders, And it might be hard with that thing on their head, but
if you're shooting this for a salon and I'm looking at the pictures, I'm the client for the salon. I want to get my hair done. This is a place I can relax. This is a place where I'm going to have fun. This is a place where I'm going to get a good hairstyle. And right now, I don't see that. She looks a little bit nervous. Mm-hmm. So just think of that. This is just...
And separate those elbows a little bit. Separate the arms and the bottom.
Oh, that's beautiful.
The shot's gorgeous.
That's gorgeous.
I don't love the
beautiful lighting
still,
on the hair.
I like the shot. I just...
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I would want that picture of me.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
I like the way it was retouched. I like what you did with the colors. I think that's very good. Oh, Rodney sent in a lot of photos.
Sam, here's a question. How many clients will I need once I become established to ensure a steady stream of income?
Okay. I saw this question ahead of time, and the quick answer is it's entirely up to you. And I know that's very vague, but it depends on how much you're priced. If if you end up being if you want to be high volume, low price, or you want to be high price, low volume. I'm high price, low volume. I can survive on 2 shoots a week, and I could be very satisfied with that. But if you are priced at significantly less, you might need to shoot every day. So I think you have to figure that out for yourself and start with how much money do you need to make per year, per week, per month to survive, and then backwards it from there.
Yeah.
It's going to be different for everyone.
What's a typical work day, week, or month like? Do you have periods of busy activity and then a week where nothing is done, or is it more consistent for you?
Not consistent at all, which is I actually like. The reason I left the corporate world is because I'm not. I don't operate that way. But I will say that I do have to prepare every single year for it to go dead. Right around Christmas, like once the Christmas rush is done, it's silent till about March. It can be completely dry. Now I have a new studio, and I've been really pushing that. So I've been busier than I would normally be. But usually I actually prepare for no work for 3 months, and I'm working other things or personal projects to do that. So, but it's. I think if you're very good at organizing, you could have a more structured schedule. I like to fly by the seat of my pants, so mine is not.
And you're always trying new things too. That's not a time you're doing nothing. You came up with new marketing campaigns, and you're planning out the rest of the year.
Oh yeah. No, I am doing work related things, but it's not on a strict schedule. It's sort of I just go with the time I'm given and what I have in that moment.
Do you use apps to manage your expenses for tax purposes, to track the mileage on your car?
17 Hats.
You do everything through 17
I do everything
Hats. 17
Hats. 17 Hats
has
reporting. Has reporting, and you can put all of your expenses in, and it will put them in pie charts and reports for you.
I had some feedback on that as well. Mile IQ is an app where you can track your car. It tracks your car mileage automatically.
I had trouble with Mile IQ.
Oh, you did?
They were good, but I live in a poor service area with my phone, and so it would put in, like one day I live about 2 hours from New York, and one day it said I went to New York and back, and I actually never left the house.
I mean, that's not bad for your taxes, but it's not true.
I can see that.
And then another thing is I use like an hour tracker for myself, which seems funny, but I had one for Justin and for other employees, and I started tracking my own time working and what I was doing. So if I'm doing photo editing, I clock in.
Oh, 17 Hats has a clock.
It does.
Yeah.
So you clock in.
I clock when I'm editing for clients sometimes.
And you keep track of your time, everything that you're doing. If you're doing like the business side, clock it in. Get in the habit of clocking everything, because you're going to say, I don't spend that much time editing. And then you can go back and look at the charts and say, I actually spent 7 hours editing this week, so I have to charge appropriately.
But not only that, but that's actually a great idea in the beginning to calculate how much your time is worth. If you can really dial in how much time you're putting in, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's what I do for myself, because I was putting way more time into videos and video planning than I realized, so I wasn't charging my clients enough. So no matter what business you have, you should
that's a good idea.
Track your time.
Sam, how often do you contact current clients of your services to see if they need another shooting or sitting? Like, do you send out mass emails every couple of months?
So I do a quarterly newsletter. The quarterly newsletter is not salesy. It's literally just for them to see my name. That's all you need, really. And it's just maybe my favorite shots of the quarter, what am I up to, any maybe promotions that I'm running, but I'm not actively like, you need another shoot? How about now? Need another shoot? I just think that comes across really desperate. You don't want to look desperate, like you need their money so bad to survive. So most of my work comes from word of mouth. I get lots of repeat clients. They come to me on their own when they're ready. But I did just do a quarter newsletter, and I had 3 repeat clients contact me and book sessions. So it's just staying in, and it wasn't salesy at all, really. So just staying in their eyes.
Do you have clients who look at your contract and they say, "Oh, I don't agree to this clause"? And if so, what do you walk away from it?
Very rarely. And I work with a lot. I photograph a lot of attorneys for personal branding sessions, and I've never had an attorney come back at me. Although I have had a few people trying to mend a few things or have questions. Usually if they're asking questions, they just don't necessarily understand the verbiage and they just need clarification. I'll make changes if I feel like it's something that I'm willing to compromise on. And if you're not sure if it's going to help or hurt you, contact your attorney and ask them what they think about the change you're going to make.
Based on our templates, it's as easy as scratching something out or writing something new in and then having all parties initial.
Yeah.
So it establishes that.
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself motivated while you're first building the business when no doubt you're facing lots of hungry periods and lots of disappointment and lots of failure? Like, how do you keep going?
I think I was really naive in the beginning about how much work went into creating this for a business. But I kind of think that that was almost a blessing because I spent a lot of time creatively chasing things that I thought I might like. Like, do I like weddings? Do I like this? Oh, let's get paint. Let's try this. And instead of being worried about the money part, I think I was just in it because I loved it. And eventually when I got to that point where, okay, I'm starting to make a little money, this is getting hard, the way that I stayed motivated was actually becoming friends with other photographers in my area. We bounce ideas off of each other. We shoot each other. I would just say if you have that kind of area where you can find a group of photographers, Facebook, maybe create one. If you don't, start one. Invite your local photographers to join the Facebook group. Reach out to them. They're a great source of information.
I'll also say that for our business plans, we'll make a long-term plan, and that can be very overwhelming and you can feel discouraged easily. Break that out into much smaller steps and then just always have a goal you can accomplish. And when you do it, that re-inspires you. Yeah. It doesn't have to be huge. It can just be, this week I'm making a website, and then you finish it and take a moment to say, I did that. I thought that would be hard and I did it. And then go for your next small goal.
Have you ever had a client who just was not happy with your pictures? And what do you do then?
I've never had to refund someone, but I would. I think if you have someone who comes to you, you've done the shoot, I would first offer a reshoot free. I want all my clients happy. If they turn down the reshoot, it's a cost of doing business. There are losses in business. Just return the money and send them on their way. The worst thing you can do is fight them because nothing says, let me ruin your business like bad mouthing. So if all they have to do is go online and rip you apart, and then you've probably done some damage. It's worth it to me to have everyone happy and to just pay someone their money back and go on their way. And then all they can say is, you know what, I didn't like my photos, but she gave me my money back. Yeah. And I think, pick your battles really and think about the grand scheme of things. In the moment, things can get heated. If someone's unhappy or upset or mad, just do whatever you can to just satisfy them and move on to the next person.
Even if they're difficult, even if you are
I've had difficult people, absolutely.
Yeah, even if they're difficult, they're difficult. Yeah. Don't get mixed up with them. Just wash your hands of them, give them what they want, and
be done. Away. Be done.
Ladies, business cards, how do you do them?
Okay,
Did you design them? Did you have somebody design them?
Sam has really good ones.
My first business cards were really awful.
Mine too.
But these business cards have photos on the back, and every card has a different photo. So this is my case, right? And then it fans open. Whoa. And it has the backs of all this one looks like there's nothing there, but it's actually, there's a doggy in there. So each back represents a different style that I shoot. And on the front is a very simple, you probably can't see. Sorry, Justin.
No, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you see on my camera, Justin?
I'll post a photo of it in the group. Since you're all in the group, I'll post a copy. And it's very plain and simple. Plain and simple.
My first one was like an HDR photo and all different fonts. And I tried to do it myself. And the first like established business person I gave it to, he literally laughed at me. It broke my heart. And that's when I realized, don't design it yourself. It's just like websites.
Everyone comments about these. They're very thick. There's a red like filler inside. I don't know. They're very cool. And you can put 8 images on them.
Let me go through some quick questions.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm stealing this from you.
Randy asked if the contracts we had would work in Austin, Texas, and there's no reason they wouldn't, but you still need to have a professional review them because laws everywhere vary, and I don't want to take legal responsibility for anything. And I think we got through all the questions, and we just had one picture left to get to.
All right.
Oh, but Randy also said he has a coworker who wants him to do senior portraits. They said they want, this was an interesting one. They want 2-hour shoot time, 2 locations, a couple of outfit changes, some shots of his dog, and some shots of his truck.
Okay, so that sounds like a personal branding shoot.
No, it's senior portrait.
Oh, senior portrait shoot?
Yeah.
Okay,
But he's thinking of doing it for, where's the third page?
There was no other page.
Oh, so I read it, and I think, sorry, Randy, if I messed this up, but I think that they wanted him to do it for like $250, but I think it's going to take you more than 2 hours, and there's no way you can do this for $250.
I would, no. No. I don't know what you're currently charging.
It's his friends, too.
It's your friend.
Yeah.
Okay,
Friend
that
prices.
actually makes it worse because friends take advantage.
Yes,
if he was
they
really your true friend, he would want to support your business.
He would pay you more.
He would pay you more. I would say that, oh gosh, this is tough because I don't know. You know what? I will say this. Please repost your question in the group, and I will publicly reply and give you some advice on this because I don't think without knowing more information, I have a lot of things I want to say, but it may not apply. So write something in the group to me,
It's complicated, so please, because I read this one and I had to put it in because I was like, no, Randy, don't. Slow it down. No. Okay.
Please write something, tag me. Okay.
We have a couple of minutes and one last picture from Langston Ball here. And this is a cool shot. She's glammed up. She's got a cool car. I think I like a lot of things about the shot. I wish the shot were a little bit wider. Like one thing you preached over and over again, Sam, is to shoot wide and leave room to crop. Here, her hand is cut off, so her arm just kind of goes off into space.
And I don't know if is she supposed to be pretending like she's driving or is she just hanging out? I don't even know. She might be in the back seat. I can't even tell if she's in the front seat or the back. You know, I mean, obviously you can tell she's in the front seat, but it's just so close.
Yeah, I want to see a little bit more of the car too, and maybe even a more dynamic angle. Like put it
back
on the
up. That was my
a little bit.
Problem.
I might even put something up under her butt so she's sitting up a little higher.
A couple of books.
Yeah, but really cool shot. Guys, I think we got through all of your photos, all of your questions.
Hi, that's Randy. Randy, I see you, Randy. Write to me, please, in the group and re-ask a question.
I see you.
This is our first Q&A. I think we plan to do another one, so let us know if this was helpful. And definitely go to the Facebook group and start posting. Start putting up your pictures and your questions.
I'm reading everything that's posted in there.
Yeah, it's so lonely in there, guys. Let's get it going. All right. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See you in the group.
Support.